Week 2 of women's basketball. We're here with head coach Lynn Kennedy. Coach, you guys went on the road to start the season, had a couple games that you didn't quite necessarily like the outcome, but tell me what you liked about your team and what you saw over the last couple of games.
Well, I mean, going into the weekend, we knew that both the teams were really good teams. Long Beach State's a postseason team, and they will be again this year. Fullerton, a young team, but they made the semis last year of the Big West. So, we felt like it was a good transition from our practices, exhibition, scrimmages to regular games, and we were playing tough opponents on the road. So going into the games, we knew they were going to be tough games, and we saw kind of the off factor as a young team going into those games. The first quarters kind of were the two first quarters kind of were where we were struggling a little bit, and then we settled down. We started following the game plan, the execution part of it, and got into a flow offensively, and you could see the difference. We stayed with Fullerton, actually took the lead in the second half, into the third quarter, and against Long Beach, we stayed even with them, even won the fourth quarter. So those things as a young team, you try to improve on during the game, change some things at halftime, and then see how we come out of halftime and execute those things. So on that end, I think it was a success. We want the wins, but at the same time, we're learning as a young team to get better each and every day.
It is an extremely young team this year. Talk a little bit about some of the freshmen and newcomers that made their debuts this weekend and what you saw out of those young players.
I was impressed with all of our freshmen just being able to step up and play the highest level against two really good teams that have, really dominant posts and athletic guards that can score and finish at the basket. So, when you play postseason teams, you've got to be able to bring the highest level of play every day. And I was really impressed. Michaela Kay came out the first game, leading scorer, was able to set our tempo, create the intensity on defense, and kind of gave it a stabilizing factor for us throughout the whole game as a freshman, which is rare. And then the second game, Bree Shepard came in and gave us a little spark off the bench. She was able to score, especially in transition. She gave us a speed factor that we didn't have Friday night, and against a very athletic and a very fast team, we were able to get transition baskets in that game to allow us to get back into the game, I think a couple times close to within 14 points. So she gave us a little spark off the bench and was able to kind of kickstart our offensive end. But I think for all of them, Pia as well, give us an inside presence. Hers is, fouling a little bit too much right now, but those things we can work on. Keon was able to get to the basket, gives us a defensive intensity we don't have at the guard position. She can raise our level of intensity. So all in all, I was impressed with the freshmen and how they performed.
First 2 games on the road, now 3 at home starting this weekend against Warner Pacific. You've played Warner Pacific a lot over the last few years, coming from the Cascade Collegiate Conference. What do you expect out of them this year as you open your home slate?
Well, Matt Gregg does a really good job with them, coaching them. They're well coached. They execute offensively. They've got tremendous shooters. I mean, they're one of the best shooting teams in that conference. So saying that, it's going to be tough to guard. We've got to make sure that we, close out well. We get a hand up. They're very streaky. Some games they're going to be down 15 to 20 points so far this year, and then before you know it, it's a tight game. Last night they played St. Martin's. St. Martin's didn't score in the fourth quarter. They came back from a 10-point deficit and won by 3. So they made a bunch of threes at the end to kind of close the gap, and then were able to win the game. So they can play. I mean, defensively, they're going to throw a lot of things at you, a lot of full court stuff, a lot of zone, a lot of man. They're real aggressive, and they're a good team. They're going to be in the upper half of that Cascade Conference. So we've got to play our best game of the year. I mean, we really do. And for us this week, that's what we're focusing on, just getting better every day and be ready for a tough opponent on Saturday.
Okay, the Vikings are open their home slate this Saturday at 2 o'clock right here at the Stott Center against Warner Pacific.